Hey, Professor Johnson, it's Ashley Allen. This is for Anatomy and Physiology 1. Today's May 19th, 2019. It's a Saturday. This is week 2, lab 2, part 2, on the structure and function of our 4 tissues found in our body. Every cell moves nicely. So every is epithelial, aka epithelium, excuse me. These are sheets of cells that cover our exterior surfaces exposed to the outside world. These cells are packed closely together, and they essentially line our inner cavities and passageways, and even form some particular glands, essentially covering all surfaces of the body exposed to the outside world. They are derived from 3 major embryonic layers: ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. All epithelia share some important structural and functional features. All of these tissues are primary avascular, which means there's not blood vessels that run through them. So to get their nutrients, they get it through diffusion or absorption. And these tissues are known to replace and one another. Our skin flakes off, but our body is able to reproduce and get rid of damage or internally. So some examples of epithelial tissues are our skin, our epidermis, the lining of our GI tract, the lining of our organs, lymphatic and cardiovascular system, urinary and reproductive system. So next is connective tissues. This name is quite obvious because connective tissues, they connect things, right? This tissue is not closely packed together. They're a little more dispersed in what the book describes as a matrix. There's 4 kinds. There's loose connective tissue. It's more flexibility. They have more porous areas. Dense connective tissues are strong, and they're reinforced by bundles of fiber to provide elasticity and protection. And then supportive connective tissue are like bones. Think of your rib cage, and cartilage, your ears and your nose. So they provide structure. They stay in that shape. Even if I wiggle it, it comes back into that shape. And then the bone provides protection to our own internal organs. And then the last one is fluid connective tissue. This is lymph and blood. The most common connective tissue cells have fibroblasts. And this is composed of polysaccharides and proteins. Connective tissues have various functions, including body support. They connect tendons to muscle, posture, protection, energy, muscle, and joint lubrication. So next is muscle tissue. If you look at my bicep, obviously I'm moving my arm, I'm flexing. That's the first type of muscle. This is skeletal muscle. It's attached to the bone and it contracts and allows movement. This is 40% of our muscles are skeletal muscles. And these muscles also generate heat as a byproduct and help with homeostasis. Then there's cardiac muscle, which form the heart, and they're striated, so it looks like strong, like rows or almost like crevices in the muscle. They're also part of the arteries and the airway. This muscle has a centrally located nucleus. And of course the cardiac muscle is involuntary. So we don't think, oh, I gotta have my heartbeat today. It just automatically does it. The last muscle is the smooth muscle, or primarily known as, they're involuntary. So just like our heart, however, it's made up of smooth muscle. So it actually, to the eye under the microscope, looks different. They're longer oval shape, and just like the name, they look smoother. They don't have those striations. But like I said, they're involuntary. So this is our digestive system, our reproductive system, our airways. Last but not least is our nervous tissue. So although the body is quite fascinating in multiple ways, I find nerves pretty interesting. There's 2 parts of the nervous tissue. There is the neuron and the neuroglia. So now the neuron sends and receives signals through these branches called dendrites. This is action potential when they receive and send out messages. So they have a myelin sheath that covers them up like a blanket. It protects them and allows messages to be sent and received. These messages aren't like connected, so there's a space in between synapses, and the space in between neurons and synapses occur, and those are the messages that come from messages or from muscles or hormones, excuse me. So to sum it up, we need all of these tissues. They're all necessary. Even though they have their individual jobs, they are reliant upon each other. They have to work as a team. So whether we are physically active or we have an injury or you're sitting here talking to your professor on the video, all of these muscles are at work.